Ashanti Proverbs. Chapter 1. Religion and the Supernatural, the Supreme Being. 1. Of all the wide earth, the Supreme Being is the elder. 2. If you wish to tell anything to the Supreme Being, tell it to the winds. 3. No one shows a child the sky. 4. No one instructs the son of a smith how to forge. If he knows how to forge, it is the Supreme Being taught him. 5. If the Supreme Being gave the swallow nothing else, he gave it swiftness in turning. 6. When God created the world, it was day. 7. If God gives you sickness, he also gives you the medicine to cure it. 8. If God gives you wealth, it is that he loves you. If he gives you poverty, it is that he loves you still. 9. When God cuts down a tree, he does not leave the stump to sprout again. 10. The Supreme Being does not give a man more than he can carry. 11. If the Supreme Being gives you a donkey, do not demand a horse. 12. When God puts a burden on you, he helps you to carry it. 13. When God gives you children, he gives you also the means to feed them. 14. When God closes one door, he opens another. 15. The Supreme Being does not wrong any man. 16. The Supreme Being never slumbers. 17. God goes before and clears the path. 18. The Supreme Being has no relatives. 19. God never forgets his child. 20. The Supreme Being does not eat food. 21. God does not take bribes. 22. God's time is best. 23. The Supreme Being is not far off. He is in the sky. 24. The Supreme Being is in the heavens, but his shadow falls upon the earth. 25. The Supreme Being is like a great tree, its roots spread everywhere. 26. If you offend God, who will you take your case to? 27. When you are on the path, remember God. When you arrive, thank him. 28. When God wishes to destroy a man, he first makes him mad. 29. When God says, there is no death, there is no death. 30. When God says a man shall die, he dies. 31. God strikes the proud man on the head. 32. God's ways are not the ways of men. 33. When God gives you the palm, he gives you the wine. 34. If God gives you a child, do not curse it. 35. When God gives you a wife, he gives you a helper. 36. If God gives you water, do not waste it. 37. When God says live, you live. 38. God is a helper of those who help themselves. 39. The Supreme Being is the father of orphans. 40. God's house has no roof. 41. If God takes something from your hand, he replaces it with something better. 42. The Supreme Being is one, yet he has many names. 43. When God says die, who can say live? 44. The Supreme Being gives according to his will. 45. When God sends the rain, it falls on all roofs alike. 46. God has no favorites. 47. The Supreme Being knows the heart. 48. The Supreme Being's ear is long. 49. God's mill grinds slowly but surely. 50. The Supreme Being is not mocked. Animism and fatalism. 51. The spirit that guards a man may sleep, but it does not die. 52. If a spirit says you will die, even medicine cannot save you. 53. A man does not run faster than his shadow. 54. No one escapes what is written upon his forehead. 55. If your destiny says you will drown, You will die in a calabash of water. 56. What God has written cannot be rubbed out. 57. When the Spirit says a man shall die in the bush, he will not die at home. 58. The Spirit does not forget its debt. 59. You cannot hide from the Spirit that walks with you. Minor deities and charms. 60. The fetish that eats salt does not live long. 61. A charm cannot save the man whom God has condemned. 62. When your charm fails, blame your own heart. 63. The fetish may be strong, but God is stronger. 64. The charm that protects the liar will break in two. 65. If a charm has power, it is from God. 66. The fetish drinks blood, but it cannot give life. Tutelary deities. 67. The god of the town does not love a stranger more than its own child. 68. When the town's god is angry, the priest suffers first. 69. The god of the river knows the fish in its waters. 70. The god that guards the town sleeps not. 71. When the god gives rain, the fields rejoice. Fetishism and fetish priests. 72. The fetish priest's mouth is full of words, but the end is with God. 73. The priest eats for the god, but hunger still comes. 74. When the priest is angry, the god is calm. 75. The fetish priest dies, but the fetish remains. 76. The fetish's child does not fear the bush. Manes and ghosts. 77. When a man dies, his shadow walks. 78. The ghost of a brave man does not frighten. 79. The ghost fears not the dark. 80. A ghost cannot be killed twice. 81. The ghost of the liar still tells lies. 82. When a ghost weeps, the living tremble. 83. The ghost comes back to finish its story. The soul. 84. The soul of a man is a bird. When he sleeps, it flies. 85. If your soul loves you, you will not stumble. 86. The soul that wanders far forgets the body. 87. When the soul leaves, the body is clay. 88. You cannot cage the soul with ropes. Death and burial. 89. Death does not knock at the door. 90. When death enters the house, laughter goes out. 91. Death is the debt which all men pay. 92. The grave is never full. 93. When death takes the elder, the child learns to fear. 94. No one hides from death behind the wall. 95. The dead man's mat is not spread twice. 96. The hand of death is long. 97. When death speaks, no man answers. 98. The drum of death is beaten softly. Evil spirits. 99. The evil spirit smiles with teeth of honey. 100. The evil spirit loves darkness. 101. When the evil spirit enters the house, drive it out with prayer. 102. The evil spirit flees from the clean hearts. 103. The evil spirit eats where fear is cooked. Witches and wizards. 104. The witch flies at night. 105. A witch does not confess until she is dead. 106. The witch's child plays with bones. 107. The witch drinks the blood of a kin. 108. When witches dance, the moon hides. 109. A wizard's eyes are fire. 110. The witch knows the sleeping place of the soul. Soothsayers and medicine men. 111. The soothsayer sees tomorrow but not his own death. 112. When the medicine man is sick, who will cure him? 113. The soothsayer's tongue is long, but truth is longer. 114. The doctor's charm cannot heal his own wound. 115. The medicine man's bag never closes. 116. The diviner's shadow falls both ways. 117. The soothsayer's eyes are on the future, his feet on the ground. 118. When the diviner speaks falsely, the gods laugh. 119. The healer's hand is guided by God. 120. The medicine man dies, but his herbs remain. Chapter 2. Social and Moral Proverbs. Man, Society, and Conducts. 1. Man is not a palm tree that he should be self-sufficient. 2. A single bracelet does not jingle. 3. One head does not go into council. 4. When a man walks alone, he walks with a shadow. 5. A person is a person because of others. 6. The left hand washes the right and the right hand washes the left. 7. A house is not built by one man. 8. When a man eats alone, he fights alone. 9. The path of a man is made by walking with others. 10. The fire of one man cannot cook for the village. 11. If the town loves you, your enemies will fear you. 12. He who lives in the community must open his door. 13. The man who shuts his door shuts out his blessings. 14. The river that forgets its source will dry up. 15. When the stranger comes, the gods test the hearts of men. Character, virtue, and wisdom. 16. Wisdom is like a baobab tree. No one individual can embrace it. 17. When a wise man sits, the people stand around him. 18. Wisdom is not bought in the market. 19. The fool speaks, the wise man listens. 20. When the fool is silent, he passes for a wise man. 21. The words of the wise are like dew. 22. Wisdom is like a fire. People take from it. 23. A fool's heart is in his mouth. A wise man's mouth is in his heart. 24. The wise man looks ahead. The fool only sees his feet. 25. He who does not learn is not wise. 26. The wisdom of one man is the folly of another. 27. Wisdom does not live in the head of one man. 28. He who asks questions does not lose his way. 29. When the wise man dies, a library burns. 30. The wise man learns from the mistakes of others. 31. Wisdom is a seed. When planted in the heart, it grows. 32. Wisdom does not show itself on the face. Pride, anger, and self-control. 33. Pride goes before a fall. 34. The proud man builds his house on the wind. 35. Anger is a short madness. 36. He who swallows his anger swallows medicine. 37. If you are patient in one moment of anger, you will escape 100 days of sorrow. 38. The angry man digs his own grave. 39. The hothead cools in the grave. 40. He who cannot master himself cannot command others. 41. The angry man burns his own house. 42. A calm heart sees far. Truth, speech, and silence. 43. Truth is like oil. It always comes to the surface. 44. The tongue has no bone, but it breaks bones. 45. The tongue of the liar is short. 46. A word is like an egg. Once dropped, it cannot be picked up. 47. Speech is silver, silence is gold. 48. If a lie travels for a year, the truth will overtake it in a day. 49. He who speaks truth has no need to shout. 50. When you speak, speak truth, even if it kills you. 51. A word is like a spear. Once thrown, it cannot be recalled. 52. The mouth is the enemy of the body. 53. A silent man is not easily caught. 54. The wise man's tongue is in his heart. Kindness, friendship, and generosity. 55. A kind word is better than a fat ox. 56. The hand that gives is the hand that receives. 57. He who gives gathers. 58. The heart that gives gathers joy. 59. Friendship is like a garden, it must be tended. 60. A friend is better than gold. 61. The friend who shares your laughter should share your tears. 62. A friend's wound is better than an enemy's kiss. 63. If your friend is honey, do not lick him all up. 64. When a friend visits, blessings enter the house. 65. He who has no friends is like a tree without roots. 66. If you see your friend's beard on fire, wet your own. Wealth, poverty, and labor. 67. Money is like a shadow, it follows those who move. 68. The rich man's words are sweet, the poor man's words are bitter. 69. Wealth, like the morning dew, soon dries up. 70. Poverty does not kill, but it makes one weep. 71. If you do not sow, you will not reap. 72. The lazy man's farm is full of weeds. 73. The hand that works is the hand that eats. 74. The lazy man's stomach is never full. 75. Labor is wealth. 76. He who waits for the roasted yam must learn hunger. 77. The hoe does not lie. It tells who has worked. 78. The rich man eats alone. The poor man shares justice and authority. 79. Justice is like a drum. It sounds for all. 80. He who judges without hearing both sides is unjust. 81. The chief's ears are long. 82. A chief is not a chief without his people. 83. The stool is greater than the man who sits on it. 84. A ruler's power is in his people. 85. He who rules without wisdom falls like a tree in the storm. 86. Justice is the mother of peace. 87. A king who does not hear his people will not rule long. 88. When the chief eats alone, the people starve. Family, children, and parents. 89. A child does not forget its mother's breast. 90. The mother's back carries both good and bad children. 91. He who has no child has no home. 92. The child of the leopard is a leopard. 93. If a child washes his hands, he may eat with elders. 94. A child is a visitor in the house. 95. The child who asks questions learns the road. 96. When a child is loved, he grows straight. 97. A child is the mirror of the home. 98. A child is like a plant. If watered, it grows. 99. When a child breaks a pot, the mother's hand trembles. 100. The child who fetches water breaks the pot. Chapter 3. Kings, Chiefs, and Government. The nature of kingship. 1. A king is not a king without his people. 2. The stool is greater than the man who sits on it. 3. The chief is a servant of his people. 4. The king's head is heavy. It cannot rest easily. 5. The king's word is like rain. Once it falls, it cannot be taken back. 6. The king is like fire. Approach him too closely, and you burn. 7. The king does not sleep when the people are awake. 8. The king's heart is not his own. 9. The king's eye sees farther than the hunter's. 10. The king is the shadow of God upon earth. Authority and responsibility. 11. When the king drinks water, the people drink also. 12. The king's ears are long. 13. The chief's tongue is sharp but just. 14. He who sits on the stool must have a clean heart. 15. The king must be deaf to flattery. 16. When the king walks, his footprints are laws. 17. The ruler who does not listen will rule alone. 18. The king who rules by fear dies in fear. 19. A chief's power lies in the hearts of his people. 20. The king's promise is a debt, justice, and counsel. 21. Justice is like a drum, it sounds for all. 22. A chief does not decide alone, he takes counsel. 23. One head does not go into counsel. 24. The king who listens to wise counsel rules long. 25. The court of the king is open to all. 26. When the chief sits in judgment, truth sits with him. 27. The king's stool is upheld by justice. 28. If the king's judgment is crooked, the land is crooked. 29. A ruler's tongue should weigh before it speaks. 30. The elder's word is the seed of peace, leadership, and example. 31. The chief leads by example, not by command. 32. The king's road is straight, he does not turn aside. 33. If the king walks in darkness, the people stumble. 34. The leader eats last. 35. The king's hand gives before it receives. 36. The ruler's shadow covers the land. 37. The king's anger shakes the town. 38. A ruler who forgets his people will be forgotten. 39. The chief who is proud brings ruin to his stool. 40. The king's patience is the strength of the nation, succession and heritage. 41. The stool never dies. 42. When the king dies, the stool lives. 43. The son of a king is not always a king. 44. The stool chooses its own occupant. 45. A chief is born in the womb of destiny. 46. The king's blood is sacred. 47. When the stool calls, who can refuse? 48. The heir does not run from the stool. 49. When the tree falls, the seed takes its place. 50. Kingship is service, not inheritance, obedience and loyalty. 51. The king's word is law. 52. He who disobeys the stool disobeys the ancestors. 53. The loyal servant sleeps in peace. 54. When the chief calls, the people answer. 55. The ear that refuses to hear the king is cut off by fate. 56. Loyalty is the cloth of kings. 57. The traitor's shadow is short. 58. The hand that betrays the king is never clean. 59. He who betrays the stool is cursed to wander. 60. A loyal heart is a chief's crown, war and protection. 61. The king's spear guards the land. 62. When the drum of war sounds, the brave man answers. 63. The chief's shield covers his people. 64. The coward's name dies before his body. 65. The chief who fears war loses his town. 66. The spear of the king strikes far. 67. When the horn blows, the warrior rises. 68. The blood of the brave feeds the land. 69. The king's warrior dies that others may live. 70. The chief's courage is the town's wall. Peace and unity. 71. Peace is the child of justice. 72. When the drum of peace sounds, let no man beat the drum of war. 73. The king's smile is peace. 74. A chief's word can quench fire. 75. Where there is peace, the land bears fruit. 76. The peace of the king is the peace of the people. 77. When the king is angry, the land trembles. 78. The chief who loves peace rules long. 79. When the people are united, the king sleeps soundly. 80. Peace is better than victory.